I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Okay.
I'm so excited to see you, friends.
I know. We
It feels like it's
haven't
been forever.
recorded in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I have no idea.
A week. I think it's been a week, but still.
Oh, it's been longer than a week. I think we haven't recorded in 2 weeks. Like, there's been 2
Right, we
weeks
didn't record
between the
last
last
week.
time we recorded.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever we miss a week, just prepare yourself. It's going to be
An angel cries.
chaos. And 'cause, yeah, we have a lot to catch up on. There's a lot that's happening in the world right now. We just had an Aries full moon. That's when we're recording. I'm dealing with that.
Actually, I feel like it's been good
and
for
I'm
me.
sorry?
I feel like it's honestly been good for me. I'm on day 5 of no crying.
Ooh.
So that feels good.
Ooh.
You know, I think we're
Wow.
things are looking
that's
up.
Aries
you know?
for you. Which is surprising, honestly, because of the criers, I'm the one.
Oh, dude.
We all
Well, it
know
depends
that.
on how much wine you've had. How much cry juice have you had?
That's so true. Listen, I saw the posts on Facebook who were like, I'm in for the cry juice.
Yeah.
Count me in.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
Investors are rolling
Sometimes
in.
you need a good
Somebody
cry,
contact
you know?
Mark Cuban immediately, if not sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're
who
on to
knows?
something.
This day 5 streak, I might turn into Cameron Diaz in The Holiday, you know, where it's just like she cried so much that then she just like couldn't cry again in her life for years and years
wow.
and years.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm gonna need the cry juice
Yeah, amazing.
Oh,
get that kick started.
Get the hair ducts going again.
Exactly. Yeah, get everything working, everything lubricated appropriately.
I'm just trying to survive Pluto getting the fuck out of my
Period.
sign. Do you know what I mean?
You know what I discovered in the break is that I have a Capricorn stellium.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
I was like, everybody's
Girl.
talking about stelliums. What the fuck is this? So I finally
I don't
just
even
like,
know what this
I
is.
sat down to take a look at it. It's basically when you have 3 planets in the same sign. And I have 3 back to back in Capricorn.
Wow. Do you know what house?
It's the 10th house and the 9th house, I think.
I'll have to check, but because of Pluto has been there for like the past 17 years. So whatever house that it's in. So for me, mine is in my 4th house of relationships. So they're like, so the past 17 years have been fucking you having to learn and suffer and everything from relationships.
Wow.
And then it's going away.
And you're like, wow,
Where's
never,
it going
never a
into,
truer
though?
word.
But it really,
What is it moving into?
Aquarius, which is different.
Oh.
Pluto's different in every sign. And so Pluto being in like Capricorn has just been misery for anybody with a Capricorn
see.
placement. But it's
Great.
it's moving into Aquarius, and it won't be back in Capricorn for the rest of our lifetimes. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just did away with that. That's good. Yeah. No, I've got 3 in a row that are Capricorn, and I also have a Capricorn moon.
Yeah,
So,
so
hopefully things are looking up in Aquarius. I hope
think
so.
about your life 17 years ago, and think about what you've gone through, the challenges and everything like
Jesus.
that. Like November 19th, it's fucking done.
Oh,
Whatever it
Wow.
was.
Whatever it was you were supposed to go through and learn, you're fucking
I
done.
hope it's smooth sailing from here on
You're
out.
done.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Fingers fucking crossed. Well, speaking of Facebook and the stuff that's on there, I know that somebody shared something with us on there, and I thought that it was interesting. So I saved it for us to talk about. And I know that we all just watched it, but we have not discussed it yet. So I'm curious about your thoughts, because I definitely have thoughts on this. There was a woman who posted a TikTok, and first of all, not that it should matter, but just saying, the first thing I thought whenever she came up on screen was that she's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a stunning,
So
stunningly
cute.
beautiful woman. But she posted a video on TikTok, and she said, I'm getting ready to go on a date. I'm putting a lot of effort into my appearance to go on this date. If it doesn't go well, I probably won't post this. And then she comes back and she's like, well, it didn't go well. Basically, I got there. I saw the guy. We hugged outside the restaurant. He led me into the restaurant and then basically was like, hey, can we step back outside really quickly? So I went back outside with him, and he said, actually, I want to be straightforward with you. I'm not feeling this. And ended the date, basically. I'm not feeling this vibe.
Yeah.
And then she proceeds to say, though, that dating while fat is awful. And I have questions because I personally didn't find her, to be quote unquote a fat, like, I don't know. Like, I didn't even think about that at all when she was like,
well,
I thought she was beautiful. Like, she looked great.
Well, those things aren't mutually exclusive. Like, she might feel like she is existing in a fat body, and we can't see her body, really. We can only see her face.
Right.
So it's, you don't know necessarily. And regardless, like, as someone who's been slim my whole life, I can't relate. I don't know what she might feel about her own body and the way that has been perceived, or the way that people have responded to her when dating. So I can't say 100%, if that was the reason or not. It sounds like he didn't say it was the reason, and that is her perception.
Right. I think I went on a lot of dates with someone I knew from the jump, this is not going to work. I'm not attracted to this person. Have I ever fucking just been like, yeah, it's not going to work, and then left? Because it's the rudest thing I think you can possibly do to somebody. Sit and have a fucking drink or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how it costs you nothing to be a fucking decent person. To me, it's natural to know right from the jump that you're not going to be attracted to somebody. We all have preferences, what the fuck ever. But it is so rude and so low to do that to somebody just have a drink, have a conversation. Like, someone took the effort. It does make me,
Yeah. It does make me feel like there's something more layered to it as well, because somebody posted in the comments something I had already had kind of in the back of my brain, which was, somebody had said he saw someone he knew inside that restaurant,
Yeah, it's strange that he would go in, but
it's weird.
Maybe he did just change his mind. I don't know. I'm on the fence about this one.
But I want to validate, as someone that did date in LA, which is very different from like dating in Boise, Idaho, or whatever, beauty standards and the way that women are treated. As somebody that has
truly
yo-yoed weight my whole life, I have been very plus size. I have been very, very skinny. The world is a fucking different place. The world's a different place for women anyways. It really fucking is. But
I believe that completely.
The world is a very, very hard place when you are outside of what we consider the beauty standard.
Yeah, I believe that completely and would agree with that entirely. For me, I think I was on the fence about this when I heard about this, because I don't know that I want to sit through a date with somebody who is from the jump not into it. Like, and if I can feel like they're not into it, then it feels like, it's like, yes, your time has been wasted because you spent all that time getting ready, you got there, but at least more time isn't wasted. And at least I don't get invested in something with someone who is not interested at all, because I could see sitting through a conversation and being like, I feel like this is going really well. I'm really attracted to this person. And then getting that text later that's like, oh, I just really didn't feel it. I don't know which one is worse. If it's better to just like, if you know right away, this isn't going to work out, then just say it and spare the person maybe potentially getting their feelings involved.
Well, also, what if we said from the jump on this podcast, it's like, if it's such a deal breaker for you or it's so important, put it in your bio. And like, if that guy, weight is super fucking important to him, he should put something like that in his bio so that
so we all know to avoid him.
Well, exactly.
Did you go? Yeah, absolutely. Did you go down? This is going to be very outdated by the time this episode comes out, because the internet moves at the speed of light.
It truly does.
But did you get invested at all in the Molly Rudder drama?
I got the outskirts of it and I did not dive deeper.
Oh God,
Please
I did
go in.
the deep dive. Okay, so this woman, Molly Rudder, is a dating influencer. She has quit her job as a school teacher to be full-time influencer on TikTok. And what she normally does is she'll do like get ready with me is before dates. She'll let you know how her dates went, blah, 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 blah. So she did one and like it was called like get ready with me to go on the scariest date of my life. And she's talking about the day before she goes, she's getting ready, and then cut to there's police sirens. She looks terrified and she's got like a black eye and a busted lip.
Oh my
so
God.
people are freaking out.
shit.
They're in the comments. Molly, are you okay? What happened? Blah, blah, blah. And she is responding. They're like, oh, it looks like she has this or that. And she responded to one person and said, black eye, busted lip. I'll tell you guys about it later. She
Holy
allows,
shit.
and she allows an entire 24 hours to go by. And then she posts a follow-up video where she's basically like, scariest day of my life. My date took me to a haunted hotel and they did my makeup. It was quote unquote zombie inspired makeup, but it didn't look like zombie inspired. It looked like you got hurt. Like it looked like you were hurt.
You were literally like
Wow.
being misleading to get clout.
It was
Wow.
intentional. Like you were intentionally, you knew what people were going to infer from that.
shitty.
And October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Like for you to have done that and then let people worry about you for like a full 24
shit.
hours. And then when she came on to apologize, she never actually said she was sorry. She never really addressed what the real problem was. She was like, oh, I can see how the makeup was misleading. And it's like, girl, it wasn't about the makeup. Like that wasn't the problem. So anyway, I went down a whole Molly Rudder
Wow.
rabbit hole. And this woman, there's all this stuff on this woman. And one thing was that somebody had found her Hinge profile, because one thing with her is she's like, why do I keep getting all these first dates and then I get ghosted. She gets ghosted over and over again. And that's her thing. And so someone found her Hinge profile and they were like, well, maybe you're getting ghosted. Like, girl, maybe you're getting ghosted because you're using pictures from like 5 years ago. Clearly, like you're not, there's anything wrong with it, but like your weight has changed since you posted these pictures. You look older. Like you should use just you're
Current
a cute girl.
photos.
Use real current photos of yourself. And I saw a lot of comments like that in the post that we were just talking about, where women were saying like, I always make sure to include like, I don't want this situation to happen to me. So I always make sure to include what I
Full
look
body.
like right now with my full body so that there's no, I'm not sitting here being like, why did I go on one first date and now I'm ghosted?
Yeah.
Everyone knows
Yeah.
in an ideal world, people wouldn't be this superficial, but unfortunately that's just the world that we exist in.
Yeah.
So-
No, I mean, as women, like, oh my God. And this makes me think of the tainted love I'm going to be talking about, later on in this episode. It's just like all the things that we have to do as women to be acceptable in the world,
That's insane.
let alone, and like everything that we do to be, thought of as attractive to our partners or out in the world. It's just fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
And honestly, to be frank, and it's to be frank, my name's Christina. I felt like body positivity was such a strong movement a few years ago, and I felt hope for a brief shining moment until Ozempic. And it's like every single thing that we've done, every stride that we've made to accept our body is now completely fucking out the window. And listen, I'm fucking on that medicine. I'm on it for my sugars, and I'm also on it for my weight. And so I don't know what that says about me. You can take it for what it's worth, but
You specifically, though, were told by your physician that this was important.
It's actually
to you because
covered by my insurance.
Yeah.
So I'm not somebody.
But you know what?
Listen, and
you
regardless,
can't win.
even if it's not, it doesn't matter because you're allowed to make choices around your own body and how
your
you
appearance,
choose to be in it.
And we don't exist in a vacuum. Like the reason we feel this way about ourselves and about our bodies is exactly what you were saying earlier, Christina. Like, yes, body positivity is great. And I do hope that we all learn to love ourselves as we are, because we're always going to be changing. We're going to be aging. Our bodies are going to be looking different. And so I hope we can all learn to accept ourselves. But the truth of it is society does treat you differently.
Yeah,
like pretty privilege is a real thing.
It really is.
Whenever people judge you for trying to adhere to some level of or some standard, it's because it actually affects your life. It affects it
affects your paycheck,
your job,
it affects your opportunities that you get for jobs and everything. So
that's the unfortunate truth. I wish it wasn't that way.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just, I really hate when people get down on people for being of course, you know, you can take it to an unhealthy, obsessive level, like with anything else. But whenever people get down on people for caring about their appearance, or it's just, you cannot win. You can't win, because if you want to embrace your plus size body, people will hate on you for that. And then the second you get on Ozempic, people will hate on you for that. And it's just
if you can't win regardless, you're too thin, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that. It doesn't matter. There's always something that women can, it will always be outside the standard of something.
And that's just like,
you have too many tattoos. You don't have, it'd be cooler if you had more tattoos.
Yeah.
Why do you have your nose pierced? You know, why, it's constant. It's never, there's never going to be any, so you just have to be happy with yourself. Truly.
Yeah. But it's really difficult. I mean, that's just existing in the world as a woman, but I think it's just amplified. I think when you're dating, it's just, it can be so vulnerable anyways. Because you're really putting yourself out there hey, would you like me? And you know, it just, it feels sometimes it's really difficult not to take that brush off really personally. It's
rejection
difficult.
sucks. That's why I don't audition anymore. I'm so serious. But I'm just putting yourself in a position to have people judge you and then reject you over and over again. And if you're dating regularly, if you're going out on Tinder dates all the time, that is what you're doing. You're putting yourself in a position to be judged. You're auditioning. To be judged and potentially to be rejected. And that is a very scary, vulnerable feeling.
Yeah. And I think that's just the reason why we have to balance it out with a good amount of support in your life, because you know, when you have to build yourself up. You have to gas yourself up. You have to have people around you that gas you up, that chill. You got to play the Gorilla album. Oh my God. Do you know how whenever I hear TGIF, or what's that other song from What You Know About Me or something like that from her album, I'm I feel
powerful.
You can't talk to me. No one can talk to me, because
Cardi B did that for me for a while, where I was just no.
Yeah.
I mean, self-confidence is important, of course, you know,
but man,
it's hard. It is so hard. The work of loving yourself is never ending.
Yeah.
It is never ending.
True. Well, who are we going to fuck, marry, kill from this? What's going on in the world? Oh my God, you guys, I didn't know I had a crush on Andrew Garfield until
sweet
this
Jesus.
fucking
What's going
week.
on?
Why? What happened?
Him and Florence Pugh are fucking, right?
Yes, him and Florence Pugh are for sure fucking.
Yeah.
The chicken shop date.
Yes, I saw that too. Hot.
Then Sesame Street, when he's talking to Elmo about being sad about his mom dying.
Oh my God.
Girl, I was well, it's
I've
done.
always loved him. I love like a skinny, tall, goofy guy.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. But the only thing I didn't love is that I think he was in a long-term relationship when he started that movie with Florence Pugh, and then ended that relationship. And I don't know, maybe it's just really good marketing, but if it is, I mean, we do know that they're both really good actors, so that could be what's happening there. But they look like they are into it.
Yeah.
Like into each other.
Yeah. Let's do heartthrobs.
Okay.
Or like, like sensitive. Hold on just a second.
I think it's still going, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's do like sensitivos. We're going into fall. I want an apple cider of a man. I want a flannel. I want crisp
Scarf.
leaves.
Like a nice scarf.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a flannel guy. Who's a flannel guy? Andrew Garfield, I think, puts off that like deep, emotional,
flannel
sensitive
energy. Yeah. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He does. Who else?
Let's look it up. Look up.
Not prepared. I'm going to look at sensitive leading men.
There you go. All right, US Weekly. Ooh, Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, done deal.
That's a flannel shirt if I ever saw one. Oh, Keanu Reeves, obviously. Yes. I feel like we've used Keanu a lot, though.
He was in my office the other day, and I am pissed that I missed it.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I can't.
From Walking Dead.
I feel like we did him recently.
Also, I can't not see him as like he's as Negan now,
Yeah, totally.
Even though I think he's a very nice guy in real life.
Oh, yes, your dude. Oh gosh, what's his name? This guy.
Milo Ventimiglia. Oh my God.
He's a scarf wearer.
Oh, he is for sure. Oh,
that's a flannel shirt.
Done him in a while.
Yeah, I'll do Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah, I think
Hemsworth.
Andrew Garfield's a good one as long as he's not cheating on his girlfriend, wife / whatever.
We have no proof. I'm willing, innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, there's so many good options here. There really
what's
are.
the singer's name with the red hair?
Ed Sheeran?
Guy.
I don't think we've ever done him. I'm willing to throw him.
He is a flannel shirt.
All right. Listen,
sure.
we've done Ruffalo before, so we should do Ed Sheeran. And then who else should we do?
You know what I'm going to look up?
Andrew
Pisces
Garfield.
men. That's what I'm going to look up right now. Pisces celebrities, because...
And then Milo. I think we should do Milo again.
Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah.
I mean, God Lord.
All right. So we have it narrowed down. Andrew Garfield, Milo Ventimiglia, and
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
You know what?
Wow.
Listen.
I love somebody that has a sense of humor about himself and is so like every time I see Ed Sheeran like come across my TikTok or what have you, it's always just like he just seems like he just has the sense of humor about himself and he's super nice.
He seems legitimate. I could be wrong. We're gonna listen. As always, full disclaimer: we haven't like fuck, marry, killed men in a while. Since the whole Diddy thing was really starting to go down, we really took a step back from that.
Like no one's safe.
Yeah. So just full disclaimer: I leave the door open for any of these men to be pieces of shit.
Right.
We don't
Always.
know.
Truly.
But I do get the vibe that Ed Sheeran is genuinely nice. Like every interview I've ever seen. He's always seemed like genuinely nice.
And I've met Milo,
and he was lovely.
Very, very nice.
That's right.
I've not met Andrew Garfield, but also seems nice. So these are like three nice guys.
Yeah. Not
nice guys.
Nice guys. Yeah.
Well, that we know of.
Exactly. Astrology site unseen. I have made my decision.
Okay.
I am going, and I would love to know after I've chosen what I've done wrong here. But I am going to marry Milo Ventimiglia.
Oh, God.
Hot.
He's so hot.
Yeah.
And he just gives the most like real, sincere, caring vibes. I hate fake sincerity. I hate it.
Also, just so you know, he is, I believe, a pescatarian. He does not eat meat.
Oh, okay. So we're dietarily compatible.
Correct.
Amazing.
Just laying that out there. So.
Yeah. No, listen, I could do that. Especially living in Hamburg. It's so vegan, vegetarian friendly here. So let's see. And then I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to fuck Andrew Garfield.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the
I mean, Ed
chemistry that
Sheeran-
he has on Chicken Shop Date, I'm like,
He's got a weirdly, for being kind of like a goofy guy, he's got a weirdly sexual energy.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be
Yes.
honest. Ed Sheeran isn't
Not doing it for
quite
you.
doing it for
I
me.
get it. It's okay.
He seems incredibly great, and will I friend him? 100%.
We did
But
get a
also,
comment
too-
about that people. I think one person left a comment that they don't like the fuck, marry, friend. They're like, it's fuck, marry,
sorry.
kill, make the hard decision.
Wow.
All right, fine. Well,
All right.
my decision has. I stand by my decision.
Everybody
Been
chime
made.
in and let us know how you feel about it. Cause
I think
Oh, yeah.
funny. That is funny. No, they're right. They're right. But
We've been
listen,
copping out for a while.
I'll tell you what, it has been a long election season, and
Yes.
we're not going back.
It's been a tough few
And
years.
we just
Yeah.
need to. We need to have a little bit of positivity. So we're gonna stick with friend for a minute. We'll get back to the ruthlessness later.
with these nice
maybe
guys,
next week.
with these nice guys, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
But we do promise we'll give you some hard hitting kills
Yes.
at some point.
Yes.
When we do pumpkin pie, apple pie.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna. Gosh. Okay. I am also going into this astrology blind.
I actually kind of like this. I think we should all make our decisions and look it up afterwards.
I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna marry Ed Sheeran. I really think this is the right call for me for several reasons. But one is I think he has a really, really good sense of humor.
I think he's the silliest.
I think he would be the one to like not let me get so in my head.
Yeah.
Or so like the other guys
He's
I
gonna
think would
sing you a silly
indulge
song.
my
Yeah.
sometimes too seriousness. I think he'd be the best balance for me long term. Now that puts me with like a Sophie's choice of a decision.
Is a threesome on the table?
Exactly.
Because that
Can
would
I
be
ride a train?
actually,
Please.
yeah, like a threesome with Milo Ventimiglia and Andrew Garfield would be.
I'm
That
sweating.
might make an appearance in my
I'm
dreams
sweating.
later, in my nap time dreams after we're done recording.
I know.
Hot.
That's so hot. You know what? Gosh. I think I'm gonna go with. This is impossible. I need another second.
You got to flip
go.
a coin. Okay, I'll go. This is hard because, I really feel like I could be happy with any three of these men in a marital situation. I think there are appealing traits to all three of them. Gosh, I actually thought I was going to do Andrew Garfield or Ed Sheeran to marry. But I think that Milo is actually the most like steady Eddie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think like for me, maybe that might be, I think he's the most grounded of the three. Well, actually, I don't know. No, I'm going to change
He's
it.
kind of a comic book nerd
Okay.
too.
Oh, yeah. I kind of like that. I feel like he's going to be at home. You know what I mean?
He's gonna be at
He's
home.
not going to be out running them streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm going to change it. Actually, I think I'm going to go
Okay.
with. I'm going to marry Andrew Garfield because I
love
think
it.
Okay.
I think he's right in the middle. I think he's got a little bit of silliness, but he also I think is a bit grounded. He knows himself. He took a step back from acting and when he was talking about it in an interview, it sounded like such a thoughtful, intentional decision on his part. And I really like that. I like somebody who can do some self-examination and really know
Yeah.
what's good for them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to marry him. And I'm gonna fuck Milo. Yeah, I really do like Ed Sheeran. I will go to bat for him because I think that he seems very sweet, and people make fun of his music, but I actually think he's a very talented songwriter.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with his music.
I think he's a good lyricist. Like, I think he's a pretty good songwriter, but I gotta fuck Milo. I was a Gilmore's girlie. I
Yes.
can't not fuck Jess. Okay.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Garfield.
You're gonna
To
fuck
fuck.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is I think it's more of a mystery. I think you don't know what you're getting, and I think it's
Right.
going to be good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a good surprise.
Yeah. It's like one of those like chocolate boxes. Where
What's
you're
in a
like,
Wonder Ball?
It could be
Yeah.
fucking mint, which tastes like toothpaste, or it could be that fucking.
Oh,
like,
you're talking like a C's assorted.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I truly think though, I think he's like caramel. I think it's going to be one
Oh,
of those
yeah.
rockin' ones
Yeah,
where you're
yum,
like,
yum.
oh my God.
Yeah.
They're searching the box for any of the other ones that happen to be in there. Yes.
that look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks just like that. Where's the other one that looks like that?
All right. So now let's
All
do
right,
the
are you
big
ready?
reveal.
You ready for the
Cassie's
reveal?
ready. Okay.
Okay, I already have it. So, let's start first with Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran is an Aquarius.
Okay.
Ooh, interesting. That is going to
Yeah.
be very interesting. I do have a lot of
Yeah.
the air in my chart. So
Every
a lot
time
of
I
weird
hear-
conversations in our
Exactly.
household.
Exactly. Every time I hear Aquarius, I'm like, you're talking about aliens immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100% aliens.
He believes in aliens. I believe
100%.
that completely.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran, for sure. For sure.
He
The
smokes weed and
conversations you're going to
talks
have are
about aliens.
so...
Oh my
In
God.
fact, I don't even think he smokes. He eats edibles and talks to you about
Oh,
aliens.
fuck yeah, dude.
Yes.
Well, right up my
Yes.
alley.
Perfect.
Happy.
It's perfect. Milo Ventimiglia is a Cancer. I feel like that tracks.
Yes.
And then Andrew Garfield is a Leo.
Oh.
And I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised and not surprised. But I have a question for you guys because you were talking about him and who?
Florence Pugh.
Oh, I just looked up if he was married. But it says him and Amelia DeMolden.
I think that's the chicken shop.
The movie DeMoldenberg. She's in the movie, the chicken movie that you guys are talking about.
Oh, Chicken Shop
Yes?
Date. It's not a movie.
It's not a
That's
movie.
right.
Yeah.
It's not.
That thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a
It says they're talking about their relationship.
no.
Define their.
It was very flirty.
It's
the
very
interview was
flirty.
very flirty.
Yeah,
Ah.
I'll send you some TikToks for Chicken Shop Date. It's I don't know if it's a
okay.
podcast or TikTok or channel or something like that, but she
We've never sounded older, but yeah.
exactly.
I have no fucking clue
Okay.
what you're talking about.
Okay.
And then, but it does say they talk about their relation or like their relationship or whatever. So, yes, I guess it was very flirty.
All right. Well, I feel
But they've been flirty since 2022. So who
I
knows?
feel
don't.
okay about my choices.
Me too.
knowing,
I
don't know.
knowing their
Yeah.
I don't have very much fire. I don't have a lot of fire in my chart, and I'm very. I have a lot of Leos in my family, so I think I got a good grasp.
can-
of it.
you can handle
I can handle
that.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You of all people can handle
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel concerns about being with a Cancer.
Yeah, I do too. I'm
and
actually
hurting their feelings?
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're gonna have
A
to make
lot.
friends with Milo and be like, she doesn't mean
poor
it
Milo.
like that. Like,
Oh, that's not what I meant.
I'll wrangle him.
Yeah.
I feel like I can handle that. A Pisces and a Cancer can.
Yeah.
We can talk to each other.
Yeah.
that's a dangerous. Yeah, you need like a stubborn Earth sign. Honestly,
I have to.
You have to.
I know.
Yeah, somebody.
I need somebody with a thick Capricorn skin.
Right. Exactly. Oh man. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And we're back. Okay, Christina.
Okay. So in 2020, I was young and kind of desperate, 17 and just looking for people to hang out, really. Dude, it was 2020. We were all looking to hang
Yeah.
out with
Everybody in person,
in
yeah.
masks. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Oof. So I met this guy on a dating app. Can you be on a dating app if you're under 18? I feel like that shouldn't be
feel
a
like you
thing.
shouldn't.
Did they verify?
I feel like
though?
not.
I mean, I feel like you just have to check. It's like Pornhub. They're like,
Right.
you must
Yeah,
be
they're
18.
like-
and you're
yeah.
like, okay.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sure. Yep.
Yup.
And they only recently started doing that also,
Right.
where I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Okay. I thought that was a German thing. I'm not going to
no,
lie. 'Cause
it's not. It is it is a recent development that they have
recent
started
development.
putting that flag up. There must have been some law
Yeah.
that was passed or something, but I'm just like, yeah, for forever, everybody was just like working on the honor system. I mean, still, I guess,
Still.
but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're
still,
not.
it's not like they're like, show me your ID.
yeah, scan it,
Before
scan
you
your
come
ID.
into the back part of
Oh,
the bookstore.
do you know how often anybody would visit like a porn site.
If they had to scan their
your
ID. Oh God, no. We'd be
Shit.
doing old school.
Yes.
Going and getting books.
Videos.
Yeah.
Videos. VHSs have gone up.
Man, DVD porn was a dark time. I just feel like there's something about
Clicking a chapter.
putting a fucking disc in. That's just
That
like
just automatically kills my boner.
and then you have to
swear.
like look at the menu.
God.
Menu.
Oh,
And pick a fucking sex chapter
so
you would choose to
unsexy. Like
embark
it's
on.
nothing less sexy. Just like, oh my God, give me a VHS any day over a DVD.
It does feel less like it's all
Yeah.
VHS.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, what a time. What a time.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
We're back.
for me, it's always been like books. That was my old school porn.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, not to get us completely off track, although we did know this was going to be a bit of an unhinged episode. I was considering reading because whenever Cassie moved to Germany, I took some of your books and I was like, oh, you know, like I've never read a VC Andrews book. Like maybe I'll read My Sweet Audrina.
honey.
Wikipedia'd that.
Yeah.
And I don't need to read it now because Wikipedia gave me the entire rundown. And I was like,
I don't even
what
remember it. It
the
was awful.
fuck? I have to say, I don't know how any of you who were like children of the 80s
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
okay.
I was a kid and I read that.
Yeah.
do not- that-
Girl, it was Flowers in the Attic for me. And that,
Sure.
the plot line for that is Bernanners.
This woman should have been in jail. I'm like, I don't know why she was allowed to write books for preteens that were like, not just if you haven't read My Sweet Audrina and you're planning on it, spoiler, but like 3 people die from falling down the same staircase.
Yep.
Like I'm like, just when you think it couldn't get crazier, they're like another plot twist and another plot twist, and also she has a secret sister who is a product of her aunt and her dad, and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
It's very weird. Incest is a big
Theme
like,
with her.
Theme with her.
Did
which
anyone
is
check on her porn
uncomfy.
collection when she died? What was
Truly.
happening?
Seriously. A lot of stepsisters stuck in the dryer.
Oh my
there.
God. Anyway.
Under the bed.
I feel like I understand Gen X on a different level now. I was like, I can't believe you were
we're not right.
unsupervised to read this.
Unright.
God.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Not right.
Anyways, so I met this guy on a dating app. He seemed nice enough, not my type, but had potential for a glow up, you could say. So it motivated me to give him a chance. Oh my God. He was
That's very 17.
22 and I was stupid. Yeah, that is a loaded first paragraph. That was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a hot summer afternoon. I met up with him on a corner between our houses and we went for a walk.
It was 2020.
Oh,
I was about to be
ma'am.
judgmental, but it was 2020. I think we were all doing weird shit.
He was friendly.
It's true.
And he stunk. He was absolutely fucking rank. Just imagine the worst body odor you have ever smelled in your life and times it by 3.
This is a girl that goes to high school with boys. Saying
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
bad. That's really bad.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bad.
God, I feel bad for people who have really, really bad, like,
Body
who
odor?
just like can't control it.
Oh my God.
Because I do feel like sometimes it's really bad hygiene, and sometimes I'm just like, you got.
Girl, we have talked about it, I feel like, on this show before, but there are times when you are walking out and you have to exist in the world as a woman with a smelly pussy. And
True.
like,
And sometimes it really does
it
feel
really
like it's
comes
like,
out
I
of
just
nowhere.
showered.
Sometimes I'm like, why do I have a smelly pussy right now?
Yeah.
And it literally is my nightmare. It ruins my whole day because
You
I'm
think
like,
everyone
if I
is-
smell it,
Yeah.
everyone can smell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, Christina has, oh my God, it's a nightmare. It is a nightmare.
And you're like, and I turned around and went right back home.
Yeah, just crawled into bed,
Yeah.
put the covers under my head, and
Yeah.
like, nope, it's smelly pussy day.
Sometimes working remotely is a blessing. It is. Yeah.
Just having an S.P.D over here. Jesus Christ.
no.
Oh my God. Now, I was trying to give him a chance, but he was wanting to hold my hand, and all I could think about was how dirty his fingernails were.
No.
Gross.
Okay, so this is probably a hygiene issue.
Yeah.
then with this person.
Yeah.
They weren't just having a smelly pussy day.
It's just off day.
pH is off.
Seriously. Oh, for fuck's sake. Just thinking about it again right now is making me want to gag. We ended up sitting under a tree to talk, and he beckoned me to sit next to him, where he
I'd rather not. No.
lifted and put his arm around my shoulders.
For the listeners, Christina went to do that to me, and I just the idea
moved so fast
because and it's not you. It's the story. It's because if
you could feel the wetness on your shoulder,
and
couldn't you?
And it's almost like a cartoon where you can see the odor lines. You know what I mean? The green odor lines emanating from the armpit.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I turned my head away to just get a whiff of fresh breeze because otherwise I'd fucking pass out. He's putting his other hand on my leg, nodding his head until he says, yeah, this could definitely be something.
No, it could not.
No, it could not. No, it can't. It sure cannot.
Yeah.
Cannot be anything.
No.
Anyways, I offered to get us ice cream after he made it known he didn't have any money, and we walked home after that.
She's 17 and he's 22.
Yeah. Yeah. He lived with his grandparents at the time in their basement. He offered to show me around, and politely I agreed until he took us downstairs.
No. Why?
No. Why? The date is over.
Yeah.
You don't need to. I mean, she's 17. Maybe she doesn't know that she can just leave.
Don't go to the second location.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
We got into
Oprah taught us that.
Seriously. We got into this whole virgin talk. You know how it goes. I told him I was, but I wasn't sure if I was ready for that yet. He put his hand on my knee, tilts his head towards a mystery room, and said, I can take care of that for you right now.
I wish you sure wouldn't. No, I'm good.
I excused myself and ran home. I ended up burning the shirt and exfoliated like hell when I realized his sweaty BO smell
Burning
had
the
soaked
shirt?
into my shoulder.
Listen,
I don't know that was
Goodbye.
necessary. Just throw it away.
We didn't smell it.
Bye.
So
You're
I don't
right.
know.
I'm sorry.
I know this may seem like I was super superficial, but like I said, he wasn't really my type. And on paper, his interests and hobbies seemed okay enough. He was just down on his luck currently, so I thought I'd sweep my judgment to the side and give him a chance. But sometimes I feel like I can still smell him.
Oh, no. I also don't think that that's superficial.
No, I mean,
no.
hygiene
Basic
is like-
hygiene is
Yeah.
not superficial.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
That's not yucking at somebody's yum over here. You're yucking the world.
Yeah,
with your
BO is...
BO.
Yikes.
Listen, also too,
What if she can still smell him
I
because
get
he's
it.
hiding in her
I
walls?
feel
Frogging.
Oh God. I feel like I can understand this story knowing that it was 2020 and knowing that a lot of these 20 somethings had to move home with their parents, grandparents.
22 living
my
at
son
home
did.
isn't that big of a deal.
No.
That was pretty
was a
much
lot of people.
most 20-year-olds
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
time. So I get it. That I get. What I don't get is not being able to take a shower because you have a lovely home in which you're living.
Yes, we had
with
a
showers in it. I'm
fucking
certain.
pandemic. Cleanliness was survival.
I didn't even think about that aspect of it. It's 2020. You clearly aren't taking care of your hygiene and you want to hold my hand.
You have the pandy under your fingers.
Yeah, the way we weren't even hugging
Those
our
fingernails,
friends.
That's why she noticed.
Yeah, we were all the CDC had to teach everybody how to wash their fucking
How
hands.
to wash their hands. Oh, what a time.
Sometimes
What a
it
fucking
truly
time.
feels like a fever dream.
Yeah.
I'm I cannot
does.
believe that was our reality for a full fucking year.
Yeah, I remember
insane.
when it first started going into the grocery store and crying because those big mounds of potatoes they always have in the produce.
yeah.
All the potatoes were gone.
And you're
that's
this is a
when,
bad sign.
That's when I knew. I was like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, something's happening. And I got really I got scared. I started crying. So yeah.
It was
there
very
no
scary.
potatoes.
I feel like we don't talk about it enough. That it was just we all survived a collective trauma.
Because we're trying so hard to forget it. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah,
That we're just Oh, anyway. All right. So this story is a very expat story.
Perfect.
Which feels appropriate. I'm 30, female and Italian, living in Germany. This guy, male, 35, I matched with on Tinder, insisted on going for a last minute date a few days ago, and I obliged. Despite being tired after an exhausting work week, I figured we would just go grab a quick drink in my neighborhood and call it a night. He showed up being at least a lot more overweight because it's in kilograms.
Oh, okay.
A lot more overweight than his picture suggested. I was only there for a chat, but still thought it was strange because his, not matching his pictures.
It's exactly what we just said. I mean,
right.
and we would, and this is, I didn't say this at the top, but we would expect the same thing of our dates. It's like, don't use pictures from college. Don't use pictures where you're, 50 pounds, there's a 50-pound weight difference in either direction, just like look like your pictures. That's all.
Yeah. Look like your pictures. That's all people are asking.
Yeah.
It's all we're asking.
And somebody will still swipe right on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just present yourself as you are currently. Well, not as you were 10 years ago.
Whatever you think you're doing to get more swipes, you're also then going on more dates with people who are going to be pissed or disappointed or whatever. So it's just like, get less swipes, but there'll be more quality over quantity, baby.
That's right. At first, he low-key complained that I had taken him to a posh, fancy neighborhood while he preferred to a more, quote, alternative environment. Okay, fair. He tells me he's an Argentinian musician, but grew up in Miami for most of his life. The chat is pleasant, albeit unremarkable, and we decide to sit in a little bar and get a drink. This is where things go south. And she's bullet pointed everything with red flags.
Oh, great.
1, as we walk in, he announces to the waitress that it smells like weed in here. She gives him that unamused, cold-ass German stare and corrects him by saying that, in fact, it's sage. A cute case of secondhand embarrassment on my part. Next red flag, we sit down and I order a glass of wine while he wants some Cabernet Sauvignon. The waiter says they don't carry it. So she brings him another option, the same white wine I had ordered. So he proceeds to chastise her because Cab Sav is actually a red wine. And at this point, I'm nervously laughing it off, hoping to God this torture will end soon. So she's just secondhand embarrassment.
You can just be nice about it. Like if they bring you a white wine and you don't want it, you can just say, oh, actually, could you bring me a red?
Right.
Yeah.
Look how easy that was.
I will tell you that Cabernet Sauvignon definitely isn't impossible to find because you can find it at like stores and stuff, but it's not common in restaurants at all. And if you've asked for it, some people will be like, oh, we have Sauvignon Blanc. And I'm like, definitely different things. But yeah, I mean, I do, this is a relatable thing. He starts telling me, this is the other word flag. He starts telling me he speaks Spanish and pronounces Latin American songs and mansplains to me that Italian is a language that just doesn't work with music. I tried to suggest that it might
Excuse
be...
me? I'm sorry. Have you been to an opera before or heard one?
Totally.
Maybe? Like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah.
So much music is in Italian.
I know. I tell him it might be terrible for his genre, but historically, a big chunk of classical music is written in Italian. I'm a huge opera buff. Nope. He knows the phonetics of Italian, and he's a musician, so he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, Lord.
My opinion doesn't count. I argue that every language can be perfect for a particular genre. For example, there is some great heavy metal produced in Germany.
Yes.
He says since he doesn't speak German, I cannot know that.
Oh,
wait, what?
Okay.
Like he's saying he can't know it because he doesn't speak German well. Do you have ears?
No, he's saying she can't know if it's good music because she doesn't speak German well. So, of course, he doesn't really speak Italian, so he shouldn't express an opinion in that regard either. But this dude doesn't abide by his own rules. Next red flag. He arrogantly informs me that, quote, Latin languages, according to him, Spanish, Portuguese, and Italian, were created by the poor people of the Commonwealth. Whatever that fuck that's supposed to mean.
Commonwealth.
Citation needed.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you're just making shit up, dude.
Citation needed. I have a classical education and spent my teenage years translating Latin and ancient Greek.
Oh, he got into
So I know
a
quite a
conversation
bit-
with the wrong person.
Yeah.
She's
Honey,
the wrong
right.
one to be having this conversation with.
She's like, actually, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about,
I'm
but
like so
you can.
over less than mediocre men going on to dates with like really
Chest out.
intelligent, like high
Yeah.
up there, like women who are like on top
Yes.
of their shit and stuff like that, and then trying to like. It's so fucking frustrating.
embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. You're
It's
embarrassing yourself.
Embarrassing.
Well, they don't see that, which is also embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I can't get a word in because this asshole knows it all. I tried to divert the conversation, but his attitude is utterly belligerent. Next red flag, rude Florida man now has something to say about Europe being a socialist hellhole. He fiercely believes in
Wait,
capitalism. and
is he
isn't-
American? Is that
Yeah,
what you
he's
said?
from Miami.
Oh, okay.
Grew up in
okay.
Miami. Yeah. It isn't fair that I pay taxes for people who aren't working. Side note, he's currently unemployed. If I want everybody.
Of course he is.
Oh, the irony.
Of course he is.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Yeah, of course.
You
of
cannot
course he
have a
is.
discussion. You really can't have.
No, you can't talk to people like that.
Debate assumes that two people are going in with good faith arguments and could go back and forth, but you cannot debate.
This is why I don't
stupidity.
argue with people anymore.
Yeah, you
because like
can't.
I used
I
to,
know.
and it's just like you are not entering into this debate with any kind of like willingness to understand.
No.
Like,
No.
it's
It's
just to fight.
Ignorance, fear, racism, misogyny. That's all they're coming with. So just fucking save your breath and your mental energy.
Truly. He says that if I want everybody to get medical assistance in case of need, I am brainwashed and indoctrinated by the government to feel bad for the destitute.
I don't think the government needed to brainwash me to feel bad for people.
Right.
That's called empathy.
Yeah.
And I was born
Yeah.
with it. So
Try some.
There's that.
Ugh. This is the last straw. I tell him he's a dick. He tells me I'm a stuck-up bitch and a mama's girl. I walk in
Wear it with
to
pride.
pay, visibly shaken. The waitress thoughtfully asks if I need help. I decline. She probably misunderstands me and mistakenly makes me pay for the whole amount. I understandably could have skipped paying for his multiple drinks. I went home feeling appalled. Dude was basically a caricature of the, quote, insufferable American stereotype. Just to be clear, I lived in the Bay Area when I was a teenager and absolutely adore the States and California in particular. Nonetheless, this type of interaction honestly had me praising the Lord for Germany and European men. Thanks for reading, and I'd love to hear your comments.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is. It's so frustrating, man. I have a lot of thoughts about it. It's like I said, you really can't debate somebody that is not coming at the discussion in good faith. You just
Also,
can't.
it's just like, do you think this makes you look good? I always think that whenever people like behave this way on
Honestly.
dates, where I'm just like, do you think that this is attractive? And maybe they do. Like maybe it's this kind of like they've been red pilled, alpha male kind of brained about going in. Maybe they think it's a show of strength or something. But I'm like, no one likes being condescended to.
No.
Like no, that doesn't make
No.
anyone feel good. So like going in,
Especially on a topic that I know more about than you do.
right?
Sir.
Yeah, and so coming in and arguing with me on a first date, like best foot forward,
Truly.
my guy, and that's not it.
Yeah. Where did you think this was going to go?
Right. Okay. So this is a listener story, and it says, "Hey girls, I have my truly worst date story.
Ooh.
I've been listening to your podcast since the beginning and very much looked forward to hearing Christina's journey as it was so relatable.
Oh.
I'm sorry it is a bit of a bummer, but I hope it would serve as a lesson to other women out there dating in their 30s. For years, I had been dating and refused to go on the apps. But one day, after a lot of nagging from my best friend, I downloaded Tinder. Reluctantly, I started swiping, thinking I'll just have some fun, distract myself with meaningless chats, and erase the app. I started chatting with a couple of guys, and one of them really caught my attention. He liked to travel, so did I. His brother had a dog and he loved animals, so did I. We seemed to have a common sense of humor, and the conversation went really well. 2 days later, he asked me out, saying it might be fast, but he'd like to see where things would go. We went out for a walk on what was probably the best date I have ever had. This really took me by surprise. The conversation was amazing. We had fun. We seemed to have so much in common. On date 2, he kissed me. On date 3, he moved into my place.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. What?
That took me by surprise.
Escalated quickly.
Oh my God.
Escalated quickly.
My
You didn't even
heart
kiss on the
stopped.
first date, and date 3,
Wow.
he
No,
moves
oof.
in
That feels
fast.
a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Everything moved so fast. Everything seemed amazing. And even then, I felt an urge to write in and say, see what an amazing thing it is. Even with one date, one chat on the app, something magical can happen. So never give up. I low-key wish that she had written in that story. And then we had this, follow-up.
Yeah. Be like, actually, update.
Day 4.
Because everything seemed so nice, and because I did have a dog and my own apartment I pay a mortgage for, I didn't question anything. It seemed that he just wanted to spend more time with me. So he took some clothes and we started living together.
Oh my God.
Wow.
This turned into an almost 2-year nightmare relationship for me.
Oh, honey. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is terrible.
Yikes.
Yes. See, he had just broken up with his ex of 10 years, just met a couple of months before we met, and told me he works with her, but that's it. They're just talking about work. Looking back, I was love bombed. The first month was amazing. He said the right things, did the right things, and then things started to happen. This happened little by little, sprinkled here and there, among some good stuff too. There's always good stuff.
Always has to be, or you wouldn't say.
Looking back, in the time we'd been together, he moved into my apartment. I paid all the bills, even though he earned double my salary and had 2 apartments of his own.
What the
fuck is he doing then?
I don't know.
Right?
Never offered to take care of the bills. When I got sick and needed an MRI that I could not afford, he just said, I'm sure you'll find a way.
Wow.
He started gaslighting me about things, telling me I don't remember correctly, or I have not understood things that he had promised me, treating me in an unkind way, controlling me, telling me I was selfish for making plans to hang out with my friends or go to the gym on the weekend without telling him days in advance. He kept messaging his ex and liking her statuses. Every time we would go see her and her new boyfriend, he would get really angry. He refused to put our photo on social media. 2 years. He's living with her
Wow.
for 2 years. Explaining he, quote, just doesn't post there, even though his entire page was full of photos of him and his ex. He called my dog a stench and all other kinds of nasty things, quote unquote, jokingly.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Oh my God.
Get the fuck out of my house.
I love my cat so much. If anybody insulted her,
No.
it would be an immediate, that's an ick you
We're
can't
done.
recover from.
Right.
You cannot
No, it's
recover
ick.
from that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And every time I raised the issues, explaining what had made me feel uncomfortable, he would attack me, saying I'm stubborn or selfish, and that I, quote, work against our relationship. When I would ask that he contributes to the household, he would say he buys food for dinner. I was basically allowing myself to be treated as an inconvenience. And in hindsight, I should have left when I had seen the second or third red flag instead of giving a million chances and letting him convince me that I was the problem.
You want so hard at that point, though, because you've already let him move into your house. You want so hard to not believe that you've made a mistake.
Yeah.
That it's so hard
it is.
to backpedal out of that. It really is.
Right. I mean, and the next sentence is, even though such abusive relationships come with their good moments, among the bad ones being sprinkled in, it's possible to see that something is off. Yes, it is. But abusers are so good. It's all classic abuse stuff. It's like he love bombed you in the beginning. He's trying to isolate you from your friends so that he's the only voice you're hearing. And he's still, I'm sure when he senses that you are maybe ready to walk away, he love bombs you again. Like, don't blame yourself for staying, you know, like I get it. I am writing in because as I start my dating journey again, I have not lost hope. I will still get on the apps and date again because Christina's story gave me hope. However, I hope this story I have would serve as a lesson that you should always trust your gut. Your body knows really well when something or someone is not healthy for you. Your heart knows it too. I hope if there are women out there listening who are in a similar emotionally abusive situation, they will hear my story and understand that there is a way out. We need to love and respect ourselves, and the sooner we learn this, the better our lives will be. Sincerely yours, 33 and newly single.
Oh, babe.
Well, you came out of that situation brighter, stronger. Like, it's a shitty situation to go through, but you're on the other side of it. I'm so excited for your journey. You know, I feel like I got incredibly lucky. I really did. But again, I think the community that we've built too, and all of the things that I had to go through to get to that point were part of it. So
well, and you learned, like, you went through something horrific, and I'm so sorry you had to go through that, and you should be proud of yourself for getting out of it. But we go through things in life to learn from them. And you've learned now. You're going to go into dating with that knowledge that you're equipped with, that you're going to take with you. Now you know to trust yourself. And I hope you believe in yourself more as a result of this thing that you went through. So there's always a silver lining, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And 33, so young.
Yeah, just a baby angel.
Exactly.
And honestly, I think too, like, we don't talk about the financial abuse a lot, but having someone who just doesn't participate or live up to their financial expectations in a relationship,
I feel that.
A level of abuse.
Yep.
Like, I just, there is a level of, like,
financial abuse is real.
Disrespect.
Yeah, you're right. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it.
You know, because what we do talk about the other side, which is that he controls the financials. He controls whether you can use money or not. But we don't talk about the other side of it as much, where it's like, you know, you're doing everything. You're the breadwinner. You're the pay for everything.
Well, and it also limits what you're capable of doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So there is control there.
Yeah. Oof. Woof.
Oh.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Yes.
Sounds good. And we're back. Christina, it's your Tainted Love. Tell us.
So it's still spooky season.
Yes.
However, it is also election season.
Uh-oh.
So it took me literally, we had last week off. So last week would have been when mine was due. But I'm glad I had this extra week because I found a case. I turned to my old friend, old buddy, friend of the pod, actually, Keith Morrison. And
Keith Morrison's, please keep my name out of your mouth. I don't know. I don't know her.
Don't be telling people that.
Oh my God. I did see a TikTok with him and Josh Mankiewicz the other day. It was like, all of a sudden I hear this grating voice.
It's Keith Morrison doing like Kardashian lip sync. And Josh Mankiewicz like comes in from the background. I'm like, oh man, I fucking
wonderful.
love when old people discover TikTok.
It's the best.
It is the best.
So good. So the episode of Dateline is called The Shadow in the Window. And so I'm going to tell you a story about the Altentawis. They are a family living in Farmington Hills, Michigan. And it's August of 2017, and it is the second week of high school for Aya Altentawi. Now, their morning routine was that at 6 o'clock, their mother, Nada, would come in and make sure all the kids were awake. Aya has an older brother and a younger sister, and they would have to be in the car out the door at 6:30. Well, she, wakes up a little bit early because she's like, I want to try a new thing with my makeup. It's,
Yes,
you
girl.
know,
It's first day of school, right?
well, it's like
Yeah.
second week, but
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, but,
school is
like-
still early. And like, she's like, people come in with like new hairstyles, new looks, that kind of thing. We all remember what that was like. So
Oh, that was the best part of school for me. Like socializing was the best part of school for me, 100%. But it's like
Right.
all of that stuff that kind of like,
yeah, new
The
year,
end of the
new
day.
me.
yes,
school was-
exactly. New year, new me.
So she's like done like getting ready, and she's like, that's so weird that my mom hasn't come in yet. And so she's going to look around for her house. She goes into her sister's room. Her sister's still asleep. So she's like, okay, this is really weird. And they don't live in just any old house. It's like 10,000 square feet. They live in a mansion. It's very big. So she's going around the house. She's going in the garage. She checks the guest bedroom. She's like, that's weird. The window's open. Goes to the kitchen, everything. Can't find her mom anywhere. So then she's like, bizarre. I'm going to go back up to the guest bedroom because it's weird that the window was open. She looks out and she sees her mother lying 2 stories down on the ground. She screams, runs, finds her brother. Her older brother's like, oh my God, we have to call 911. She calls 911. She's like, my mother fell. She fell 2 stories. They're like, is she breathing? She doesn't know. She passes the phone to her older brother and they instruct him like how to do CPR. Police arrive shortly afterwards. Their dad arrives shortly afterwards, falls to his knees, but it's too late. Nada is deceased. So Nada was only 35 at the time. They rush her to the medical examiner office because they're like, what could have happened? The police are examining the house. They go up to the guest bedroom and they're like, there's a stepladder there. And like, she has like a wet rag and there's cleaning solution on the window. So they're like, holy shit. First of all, she's still in her PJs. She's cleaning windows in her guest bedroom of a $10,000 house.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bizarre?
It's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you would have somebody that comes in and does that, but B, like 5:30 in the morning,
It's a
ain't
weird
the time to
time.
be washing.
It's like, unless
windows.
it's not impossible, right? Because
But
it's just
it-
like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe she couldn't sleep. And I don't know, sometimes that
Honestly,
bug gets
could be
you,
me.
you know, and you just,
Cassie's
That would
like
not be weird if
truly
it was me.
believable. I woke up with a dream about the dust.
yeah, you know, like, because for me, it's like the cleaning bug hits you at the weirdest times. And you're like,
It
I
does.
have to do it now. Like, I felt
Yeah.
that way the
Yeah.
other day where I like paused Real Housewives because I couldn't stop thinking about I had seen the dust in my, like, on my top cabinets in my,
And forget it.
in my kitchen.
gotta
And I
do
was
it.
like, I literally need to go wipe that down
Right now.
Like, right
Yes.
now. So it's not
So-
outside of the realm of possibility, but it is
Yeah.
weird.
So they're like, maybe she fell. And then the police are asking Muhammad and Ayad, they're like, is your mother suicidal? And Aya's like, absolutely not. But Muhammad's like, actually, she did try to commit suicide with pills a few years ago, and which blows Aya's mind. But again, she's 14. So she's
There
just
may be
like,
things she doesn't know.
right, exactly. So they consider all of this when they go to the medical examiner's office and go to, examine the body. And they're like, well, yeah, there was a lot of injuries from the fall. So that must have been what killed her. But one of the doctors there is like, it's really strange, though, that she has a deep gash on her forehead, like a scalp wound, and there's no blood.
Right.
There's also like other injuries on her body, but there's no blood. So that
Right, so
leads me to think that her heart was
She
stopped.
was done before she fell.
Right.
Yeah.
So police are like, talking also to her friends who are stunned. Is like a huge thing in the community.
35.
Yeah, she's so young, and she
God,
was
so young.
a very vibrant member of the community. She had a lot of friends. She was very extroverted, whereas her husband was like quite introverted. So everyone knew Nada and was just shocked that this had happened. And they're like, all of them are like, it was the fucking husband. 1,000% it was the husband. As they start to dig into the relationship, they realize that like a little bit over a year prior, there had been a domestic violence charge against Dr. Basil Altentawi. And it was because they had this fight around Valentine's Day. Basil had taken Nada's phone, and she was trying to get it back, and she had her hand in the doorway, and like Aya had woken up because she heard them screaming at each other, and Dr. Basil like shut her hand in the door. And so Aya had called the cops. The cops had come.
Having to call the cops on your on your dad.
Yeah.
That's trauma.
Yeah. And so right after that, Nada was like, I'm filing for divorce. Like, I'm through with this. They had immigrated to the United States from Syria, and they had gotten married like super, super young.
Well, they would have to. She's got
Obviously,
two kids in high school. Yeah. She's got 2 kids in high school, 3 kids total at 35. So yeah.
And the trouble started, and the argument started because she, Dr. Basil had a thriving urgent care practice. Obviously, they had money. They had this nice house and everything like that. But she was like, I want to get a job. And he was absolutely 1,000% against it. She wanted to become a fitness trainer. And he was like, you cannot get a job. Number one, you absolutely cannot get a job where men and women are like together in one place. I will not allow it. And so she's like, yeah, I'm getting divorced. She's now 35. She's, raised her children. She's coming into her own, and now they're in America. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like she was just in a place where she's like, no, I want to do something for myself.
I have options now and opportunities.
Yes. Yeah. And so yeah, police are like 100%. We have to look at Basil, but he was on probation still for that DV charge, and was wearing a tracking, like a monitor.
Well, they really took that seriously if they put him in a ankle monitor.
Yeah, exactly. So they were able to see that he was miles away. He was not there. It's not possible. So then they're like, oh man, okay. They find out there's security cameras at the house, but it's like dark, right? So it's really difficult to find anything, but they're scouring footage. They find footage that is pointing at the patio. This is so terrifying to me. They're able to see split second fall through the frame. But more than that, they also see off to the corner in the footage, they see the light in the guest bedroom plays out in shadows on the grass. So they can clearly see a shadow lifting the body and before she comes through the frame. So they're like, okay, she did not fall out. She was, thrown out. And this actually proves the theory that she was already passed, before she fell. So they're like, okay, who else could have been in the house? We've got 3 teenage kids. Like, what else was going on in her life? She just recently started dating this other fitness trainer at the job. Like, was it possible that it was him? They're doing some investigation. So this is literally the next day. Dr. Basil's like, I have to go run some errands. And he tells Muhammad to like answer questions for the police. I'll be right back. And leaves his 16-year-old son with 3 cops who then begin to be
Who would ever do that?
It's weird,
Truly.
right? Mm-hmm. It's weird. So the cops are like, so anybody else in the house? They're grilling him. They're really grilling him. And first he starts off like, well, my sister was awake before me, so that's all I'll say about that. And then it finally comes to pass. They're like, no, I did see my mom. I handed her the cleaning solution. And then it's like, oh, I was holding a step ladder for her, and then she just fell. That's when Dr. Basil comes in, and it's like, this interview is over. Like, he's just a child, blah, blah, blah. And this
Suddenly
is also
you care now. Huh?
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's
interesting.
That maybe should have been your first reaction.
Right.
Yeah.
Before you let him talk to the cops unaccompanied.
Right. And so the police are like, okay, it's done here in this house, but we're rounding everybody up. We're all going to the precinct. So they round up the 2 sisters. the dad and the brother, they take him to the cops. And Aya just thinks, they have to answer more questions, that kind of thing. But she finds out through a text that they've actually arrested her brother for the murder of her mother. Because they are able to tell from the shadows that the person has short hair. Aya and her sister have long hair, so it's not them. The only person that is known to be in the house at that time with short hair is Muhammad.
Right.
So he's arrested.
Also the only one strong enough to have picked up the mother to carry.
Right.
Like, I mean,
and he's not even like that
wouldn't.
big. He's like,
no,
but he's still he's 16. So 5 years go by. And meanwhile, Aya is like refusing to go with her dad. Like her brother's been arrested. Yeah. And Aya's like, I would actually rather go into foster care. And so goes into foster care. And the trial drags on partially because the defense takes it all the way to the Michigan Supreme Court to get his quote unquote confession thrown out as a false confession. Because they were like, he was underage. And like, finally the prosecution's like, no, don't worry about it. We'll actually go to trial without it.
Yeah, we don't even need it. Fine.
We don't need it. It's fine.
But because I did see, I listened to this Dateline, and they had like, they did have other, like he had saved, wasn't the name in, do you have this?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm jumping the shark.
Yeah. No, so they finally go to trial, but Aya like hasn't heard any of the evidence. She is going to be testifying for the prosecution about, the information that she has. And it's at trial when she learns that like her brother has her mom saved in their phone as dog.
Yeah, I remember hearing that and
Disgusting.
being so like, I don't know that it would honestly even be better if he had it, if it was bitch or something. I feel like it would be better than saving your mom's name as dog in your phone. Is so degrading.
It's like, so degrading. And, they...
As a mom, I would be hurt by either of those.
Well, 100%. But, like, there's just
I think dog would be worse for me.
I think dog
bitch.
might be worse.
Yeah. They have texts from his mother, like, basically saying, like, I'm going to go, to this deposition because it turns out Dr. Basil is not just... a fucking wife beater. He's also somebody that is shady in his business dealings and, was ended up losing his medical license before committing healthcare fraud because he's a piece of shit. And not allegedly, he is convicted of that, so he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But they also had photos on his phone of the fucking guest bedroom window.
Weird thing for a 16-year-old to have saved to their phone. Just like, I don't know. I was measuring it for drapes. It's like, why? Like, why would you have that?
Dude, the other thing, not to go back or whatever, but the thing that was like the shadiest of all that I'm surprised didn't turn on red flags is the fact that they were like, they did mention it, I think, in the episode that it was Tilex instead of like a Windex to clean the windows.
That's right.
And I was like,
That's
course a 16-year-old boy wouldn't know how to clean the windows.
Like,
that is
rookie
100%.
mistake.
Yeah. So they end up finding him guilty. And of first degree murder, he got 35 to 60 years. But what is interesting is those texts that the mother was saying she was, going to have to testify like against the father were sent to Basil, as was the photo of the guest bedroom window.
Yeah.
And they had been in contact the morning of the murder 20 times.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. And I remember the sister saying that he blamed, despite the fact that their father was, abusive and controlling and awful, he blamed their mother for breaking up their family, like destroying their family.
Why I wanted to do this episode is because if you continue to treat women like they don't have agency, that they are second-class citizens,
like dogs,
that they are dogs, this is what you get. You know what I mean? Like you're radicalizing. It's so infuriating to me that we have somebody that couldn't be more qualified as a woman who's currently tied with somebody that needs a towel put under them on a Fox and News. That is so fucking insulting. That is insulting.
Yeah.
That we have to be more than qualified, that we have to be the absolute fucking best, and we still have to fucking struggle and fight to get any kind of fucking respect. That we don't even have. In a third of women that live in this country right now don't even have control over their own fucking bodies. That is so... This, to me, couldn't be more important right now. If you get anything from these Tainted Loves, it's like, or anything from this podcast, is how much power women have when we empower ourselves and each other. And the one bright part of this story is that remarkable young woman, Aya, going to law school to help foster children like herself, and how proud her mother would be of what she's had to go through, and how strong and capable and amazing she is right now, and what she's going to do with her life.
And in large part, it's because she saw her mom be strong.
Yeah.
Because like we've already said in this episode, leaving an abusive relationship is so difficult, especially when there are cultural expectations around allowing disrespect, being treated a certain way, and not leaving a marriage. So she witnessed her mom stand up against all of that and hold her ground and say, like, I refuse to be treated this way. And I think in turn that allowed her at 14 years old to be strong enough to say, you know what, I would rather go to foster care. Like that decision as a 14-year-old, what a strong young woman,
truly.
You know, so...
Truly. So we will put in the show notes again, because it is Domestic Violence Month. I will put links in there as we do when we do talk about anything of that nature. But I just hope if you're taking anything away from these stories, it's just to be, it sucks that we have to keep fighting. I'm tired. I know other people are tired too, but like, we really do, you know. It wasn't 50 years ago. We couldn't even have a fucking credit card, you know.
Right. I mean, there are women in this election who I've seen who are voting for the first time because their husbands have died, and because they've said like, well, when he was alive, he didn't want me to vote, so I've never voted. And they're in their like 60s or 70s.
Yeah,
that's insanity to me. That is absolutely insanity. But this is, again, you know, her mom being strong and being that powerful role model for her was so important. And that's why it's so important for women or young girls to see strong, powerful women.
And you got to know you can do it.
Yes, absolutely. And
that's
it can be done.
Why that picture is so powerful to me. I cry every single time I see it. The one where
her niece.
Yes, her niece is looking up at her. It gets me so emotional, because that's exactly right.
Don't you break my 5-day streak, Christina. I swear to God. Don't do it.
They have to see that it's possible. And that's, you know, representation matters, of course. And it's just like, you know, it's hard. It is hard to stay in the ring and to stay fighting, but it's important. It's really important.
But that's why also a community of women, a group of strong women who have each other's back is the most important thing. Because guess what? We do get fucking tired. And Christina, I hear you. You're fucking tired. And when one of us gets tired, someone needs to step up in your place and be like, you know what? I'm not fucking tired today. I got your fucking back.
Yeah.
We got this. We got it together. And together we are so fucking strong. And we have a voice, and, you know, we need to make it heard.
Yeah. Shout out to Nada's friends, because I do remember that from the Dateline as well. It's like, I think her getting that job, because she wanted to be a fitness instructor because she got a job at a gym. And I think getting that job and making friends with the women at her gym is really what empowered her to be able to leave that relationship.
That's right.
And I do think it's important. You need like a community of people rallying.
That's the reason why the number one thing that abusers do is isolate.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so what they do, so that, you know, oh man.
Yeah.
So
Wow, good one. Good one.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought it was appropriate. We'll put links in the show notes also of places you can check your registration. Although, all of that stuff, so that you can make sure, because there is a lot of shady things going on depending on what state you live in.
Vote early if you can.
Yes, and listen, if you're from a different country listening to this, like, send your thoughts and prayers for us.
Goddamn, we are not okay.
We're not okay.
We're on the struggle bus over here, man.
Yes.
Listen, I'm sending my abroad.
You're sending
voter.
your ballot.
Yeah. Ballot in the mail.
Yep.
So.
What are you guys watching this week?
I am I'm trying to decide. Oh, I know. I am watching. I just finished Bridgerton. Finally.
Oh.
Finally.
Okay.
Finally. Because, you know how it was split into half, right?
Right. I don't think I've ever watched the second half.
I know.
Oh my God.
That's why they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Like, that show is meant to be binged.
It is. And you know what? I had forgotten, because not in a I forgot about it, but in the way that I was like, people had already spoken to it so much that I was like, oh, I'm going to be so fucking disappointed. And the mood struck me the other night, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm just going to finish watching, these last few episodes. And it was good. I agree that I didn't love it in the same way that I love the other ones. But I will say that Friends to Lovers is less my genre than
it's not our trope.
than an Enemies to Lovers.
Yeah.
So,
Agree.
Personally.
Yeah. Well, speaking of British comfort shows, I have been watching The Great British Bake Off.
Same.
Chris too.
And I do love it, as always. It is serving its purpose. It is cozy. It is perfect for, we're finally getting fall weather. Amazing. The one thing I do have to say,
with Noel so badly.
I want to be friends with Allison.
Oh,
I think she looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
But I do have to, one tiny complaint, and this is just me being the most American I've ever been. It was the first time we had an American expat on that show, and he barely participated.
Yes.
He bowed out.
It was embarrassing
because he got sick. And I'm like, look,
you?
There's part of me, there's the deep empathetic part of me that's just well, he was sick, he couldn't help it. And then there's the very strong American competitive part of me, 100%, where I was like,
you're on the
I don't
fucking
give
baking
a
show.
fuck. I'm like, I don't care if you are about to pass out. You get it together. You are representing all of us.
That is the most American thing ever.
Yeah. I'm like, just rub some dirt in it, okay? Keep it going.
Rub some butter on it.
Take some tussin.
I can't have you embarrass us like this, okay?
Truly. So
I feel bad for that man, because he had the hopes of all of America on him, and I'm sure I can't be the only one feeling this way. So.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, pussy.
No, I binged I Am a Killer. Which
heavy.
That show for me, yes, it's very heavy, but the in-depth interviews they do with somebody who has taken another human life, to me, I'm just like, I need to figure it out. I need to hear how they're justifying it or how it happened.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is just so fascinating to me. This is a really hard season. So I recommend not binging it, as there's a Aries full moon and Pluto is leaving your sign. It's rough. It was rough.
You
it was
gotta
not
do
my best decision.
One I Am a Killer, one Great British Bake Off, a 1-to-1.
A rotation.
Yeah.
Come on.
Gotta
Science.
flip it. I also have Eric was very kind this year for October in that he put together a Halloween playlist for me that only had 11 movies in it.
It's taking.
It was the Evil Dead trilogy.
Perfect. Easy.
Both It movies.
The new ones.
Okay.
Bodies.
Okay.
A couple other new ones we haven't seen yet. But anyways, it's completely doable. And he did it he's like, no, would be too scary. This is not that
That is
scary.
so kind.
It's very thoughtful.
Bless his heart.
Yes.
I love this. Keegan, I need to know if you've watched the movie. Somebody was talking about it. I think it was on Daily Zeitgeist. They were talking about it. The new, it's a new movie. People are like, no, it's like something 3. It's like a third.
Oh, Terrifier 3.
Yes.
I
heard people are like walking
not,
out. It's so scary.
It's not. Okay, I haven't seen Terrifier 3, but I have seen Terrifier 2. The thing about the Terrifier movies, they're not scary to me.
Heavy gore.
They're disgusting. Like that is what it is. It's like heavy gore, where it's like and people
it's like a gore show.
Yeah, and like people get like they get
You're welcome.
tortured or killed in like really disgusting ways.
No.
And that so it's not really for me, but it's almost funny because it's so like
ridiculous.
Yes, it's so like over the top, but still for me, I'm not a gore person. So I will not, I had to, when I watched Terrifier 2, I basically had to look down for a good portion of that movie because I love horror movies and I love the horror genre, but gore is not really my thing.
I don't even like watching like clips or TikToks of people falling down. Do you know what I mean? So like body
depends how hurt does they get.
Exactly.
Right,
you know what I mean? When
100%.
someone like falls and busts their like head or something like that, I'm like, no,
like, I don't watch boxing or MMA or anything because I don't actually like seeing people get. It's funny. I like horror, but I don't really like seeing someone suffer.
But specifically that, like you mentioned like torture horror. And body horror and stuff. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm too.
It's gross.
Squeamish.
Like in Terrifier 2. Spoiler, I guess not really, but in Terrifier 2, one of the characters gets his like dick ripped off.
Oh no!
And like
that feels like a lot.
Yeah, and I think in the first one, no, you know what? We don't need to do this. It's very, very gory. That's the thing about it. And yes, I can see if you did not have friends who. Because that character now is kind of like a cult classic horror character. The antagonist, Art the Clown, is kind of like a cult.
A fucking 9.
He's a clown. Yes, 9. So if you were like a drag along to that, I could see absolutely walking out.
Yeah,
couldn't be
because
me.
it's
Goodbye.
disgusting.
See ya. Well, hey, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have a terrible date story, or if you just want to reach out and say hello, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It is myworstdatepodcast.com, and we love you so much.
Cheers.